No, you're not dreaming. I am actually standing in front of you. Mm-hmm. Hi. I'm, well, you know who I am. Nice to meet you. No, you're not being pranked. This isn't some weird fever dream. Can we sit for a minute? Thanks. This is a nice place. Have you lived here long? Yeah? Mm-hmm. No, I like it. No, it's not a weird question. Why am I here? Um, okay, so you follow my channel and you follow me on Twitter, X, whatever the hell they're calling it now. Mm-hmm. And there was I don't know if it was a tweet or something that some company put out asking which influencer, celebrity, etc. you'd like to go on a date with. Do you remember that? It was a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And you answered me. Okay, fair. A lot of people answered me. I try not to say that because it sounds arrogant, but yes, there were a lot of people in those comments that answered with my name. Um, Yours, however, was the one that I was tagged in the most responses to your comment, to your tweet. I think it was a tweet. I'd have to ask my social media manager, but yes, yours was the one that I was tagged in most. And it was the one that I read and felt like, I don't know, felt like it was something we should maybe do. Okay. All right. All right. You look a little incredulous right now, which fair. Um, so I'm going to tell you what about your answer made me want to do this, and then we'll go from there, okay? Because I'm here. Basically, I'm here so we can go out and have a good time tonight. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I am going to go out in public with you. Is that okay? Because if it's not, that's fine. I can go. Good. Okay. So, um, you've been following me for a while, right? Did you ever watch kind of my origin story, if you want to call it that? I feel like X-Men or something, but yeah. Yeah. Well, what you said kind of hit home. It felt like talking to myself 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to feel invisible, to feel like everybody around you has so many amazing things going on, and you just kind of feel like you're spinning your wheels, like you're stuck a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like that for a long time. I was always the quiet loner in school. Always felt ugly and dumb and like I wasn't worth anybody's time. I wasn't even smart. So I didn't even have that going for me. My grades were kind of middle of the road, and I just, honestly, I didn't like myself very much. And the way you were talking in your tweet, I feel like you understand that feeling. Yeah, it's pretty crappy. Um, I did turn it around. I did change it, but it's not easy to do. And sometimes you just need somebody to believe in you and to tell you that you're worth it. That is what happened. Yeah. I went to college, not even sure what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go or if I was even worth, having in the classes. Then I met a professor who, as cliche as it sounds, completely changed my life. Yeah. She showed me the difference between what I thought my reality was and what it actually was. Well, that's what you said in your tweet. When you get in your head and you start questioning yourself and feeling badly about yourself, you put on my videos and they help, right? Well, she was kind of my version of my videos. Yeah. I would walk into class and she would see me being completely invisible. I didn't know anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't really even look up from my notes, you know? I was so far in myself, inside my head, that nothing else existed. She came up to me one day after class and she asked if she could speak with me. So I stayed and she sat with me in the seats instead of at her desk. And she just said, "I see you." And at the time, I felt really uncomfortable and really, I don't know, out of place. And I wanted to leave. I wanted to be away from it because nobody had ever said anything to me that way, especially so bluntly, you know? She asked how long I'd been feeling like that. And I said, pretty much my whole life. Because it was. I mean, I don't remember ever not feeling that way, you know? She was a psychology professor and she wanted to show me something. She said she thought it would help. And it was the first time anybody had ever really wanted to help me, so I said yes. As much as it was uncomfortable, I said yes. She took me out into the quad where classes were just letting out and it was getting close to lunchtime and there was people everywhere. It was a fairly sizable school. And she told me to sit on the bench under this beautiful tree and just sit there. So she sat with me, and people said hi to her on the way by because obviously they knew who she was, but they completely ignored me. I had thought people avoided me because they didn't like me, that I was invisible because they wanted me to be. I thought everybody had actively decided just to turn away from me. But what she showed me was people weren't actually paying attention enough for that to be a thing. They just were living their own lives. Nobody was watching what I was doing. Nobody was paying attention. And I wasn't asking them to. So I wasn't invisible because everybody thought I was awful. I was invisible because I was invisible. Because I didn't make myself known. Yeah. Yeah, it was worse. Being invisible because you're invisible was worse than being invisible because you were hated. At least if people don't like you, they're giving you some space. But if they just don't see you, that feels terrible. And I started to cry and I told her that. And she took me back inside. And she said there was a reason she wanted me to understand the difference. Because she said being invisible like that, where nobody really knows what you're doing or is paying attention, is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to be whoever you want to be without worrying about what other people think because they're not paying attention anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I was angry with her for making me feel worse than I already did, for showing me just how right I was about being invisible. But the more I thought about it later, the more I realized she was right. People don't have to pay attention to me for me to like myself, but I didn't like myself, so why should anybody pay attention to me? You know what I mean? It's kind of a vicious cycle. And what you had said in your comments about my videos making you feel seen, making you feel understood, that's how she made me feel. And that was my turning point. Mm-hmm. You said that a date with me would make you feel seen. So here I am. No, no, this is not something I do for just anybody, but the way you worded it, I could feel it coming off the screen. I could feel the things that I remember feeling myself. Yeah, yeah, I did turn it around. I took some time to do some soul searching, which was not easy, let me tell you. I'll save you the gory details, but I got to the bottom of why I felt the way I did. And then I made a list. I don't know about you, but I'm a list person. If I can write it down in a list and check things off or compare things, I'm happy. So that's what I did. I wrote down what I didn't like versus what I wanted to be, and I planned it out. And the two were so vastly different, it made me feel like crap for a while. That I was so far from the person I wanted to be that I felt like it was not anywhere near attainable. Mm. Oh, it's a horrible headspace to be in. That same professor checked on me a few weeks later and asked how I was doing. And I started blubbering right there in her classroom, just full on ugly crying. She let me finish, and she asked me what I had thought about since the last time we'd talked. And I showed her. I showed her my list and the comparison and told her how horrible it felt that they were so wildly different. And even though she made me feel like somebody gave a crap before, when she took me outside and basically plunged what little self-esteem I had into the ground, um, when she looked at the list of what I wanted to be, and she said that I already was those things, I just had to do the work. I had to find that person because it was already inside me. That was the first time I felt really, really understood. And I felt like somebody cared enough to want me to be better. That was a mind bend, I'll tell you. Yeah, it was. It was. When you go from thinking nobody cares to having somebody just tell you point blank that you are everything you want to be, you just haven't gotten there yet. That's huge, you know? And I kind of got the feeling from what you wrote that you were due. That somebody should do that for you. That you deserve to be told how awesome you are and just to know that somebody cares. So I decided right then and there, when my social media manager showed me this tweet that I had been tagged in so many times, the responses were unbelievable. I decided to do something about it. Mm-hmm. You have quite the profile online. Yeah, yeah. So I'm here to have a good night with you. And hopefully by the time we're done, by the time I leave, you'll see how awesome you are. I spent some time going over your social media profiles, the things that you post, the things that you like to do, the things that you say, the way you reply to people. And, well, I think you just need that somebody in your corner. Yeah, it's not easy. After that conversation, well, I I started making little changes. Yeah. I started asking myself every morning what I wanted to accomplish that day. What did I think the day was going to bring? And I went and picked up some really cheap new clothes at the thrift store. I didn't have a lot of money. I was a student. But I picked up a couple of things that just made me feel good, you know? And I allowed myself to feel good. It was hard, but I did it. I started going for walks to clear my head. I realized that I was carrying a lot of crap around in my head that didn't need to be there. So I started just going for walks after class to just have a few minutes to myself where I wasn't worried about what other people are thinking, because that was the hardest part, was getting rid of that piece that had been living in my mind rent free for so long that everybody hated me, and that's why they were ignoring me. But walking around, I realized people were just living their lives, and I got to clear whatever I was worried about, whatever I was thinking about out of my head, and not worry that they were watching me, because they weren't, you know? Yeah. For me, I experimented with my hair. Um, I eventually joined a club on campus that focused on personal wellness. So, self care, teaching you how to take care of yourself. That's a big focus of my channel, right? Is making sure that you know how to look after yourself. I mean, sleep aids and things like that are fantastic because a good night's sleep is where it all begins, but also focusing on how to listen to yourself and what you need, right? And I had to learn that. It was horrible. And funny enough, the club that I joined was run by the professor that had originally given me my shot. Mhm. I finished my diploma and I got a job, which was fine. I mean, it was what it was. But I felt like I hadn't done enough, you know? Yeah, exactly. You feel like you go to work every day and do your thing and come home and you haven't really accomplished anything other than, you padded somebody else's pocket and put a little bit into yours. But I wanted to change more. I wanted to grow. So I started my YouTube channel and my Instagram page more to track my own development and hold myself accountable than anything else. I didn't actually think it was going to be something that got followers and that people would pay attention to. I just I just wanted to be accountable to myself, and having a record of everything I was doing made me feel like I needed to keep going, you know? That professor was my first follower. Mhm. Yeah. No, I didn't expect it would take off like it did. And here I am. That's all I do now, but stories like yours are the reason I wanted it to be bigger when I found out it could be, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I want to help people see the best in themselves. That's what my content is all about. And I don't know, I think you're pretty cool. So when I saw your tweet and I saw everything you'd said, which, pat yourself on the back, it takes a lot of guts to put that kind of thing out there, especially in such a public forum. So good for you for being honest like that. That's not easy. I just wanted to help if I could. Mhm. So, I'm here to take you out and have a good night, and I don't know. Yes, yes. Dinner, movie, whatever you wanna do. Mhm. I just want you to have a good time, and I want you to see that you're worth a good time. I get the feeling you don't go out and do a lot of things. Is that true? Yeah, me neither. I never did. You deserve to have fun, and you said you wanted to pick my brain about things and ask me questions, and you thought I'd be interesting to talk to, and I think you are as well. So, ask away. And yeah, I do mean it. You notice there's no cameras anywhere. Nobody's filming this. This isn't content. This isn't for my channel. This isn't anything but me wanting to reach out to a fellow human being that I relate to, that I don't know, I think deserves better. Yeah. I'm not going to tell anybody. It's not that kind of deal. It's just one person helping another. Mhm. You do deserve it. And I hope by the end of the night you'll start to believe me. and you'll start to see it too.